Assalamu alaikum. My name is ShehrozAkbar and this is my presentation for the mid examination, and my registration number is 17 NTU1064, and my topic for the presentation is strings in PHP. And I have a table of content over here. First of all, I'm gonna describe the introduction and the way of initialization of the strings and the functionalities we can perform on the string. Okay, introduction. When you read a data from a file or output it to a web browser, your data is represented as a string, as you know about that. And PHP strings are they can be contain all null bytes and they can also grow and shrink on the demands, and their size is limited and only by the amount of the memory that is available to the PHP. Okay. The next we have the way of initialization the string. In this we have total three ways: with single quotes, with double quotes, and with the head document. Okay, with a single quote. In the single quote, as you can see that we can just pass our data in the single string. Each and everything in those single string just print as it is on the terminal. As you can see that there is no escape character working and there is no variable working in it. Okay. Next we have with double quotes. With double quotes, as you can see that we can also work with the escape characters. We can also work with the variables. It can show us to the values, as you can see the output of it. Okay, next we have what are the escape characters. Escape characters are actually we use it in the output. I mean in the strings. It started with a backslash, and as you can see each of it perform his own functionalities, just like this line break and tab and dollar sign. Okay, next we have a here document, third form of initialization of a string, in which it started with a lower than sign, and it started with this end and ends with this end, and there is no double quotation marks. It just print as it is it on the terminal. Okay, next we have the functionalities, different functionalities we can perform on the R string. So it consists of the different functions which contains the different functionality to perform it on our string. As you can see that accessing substring, you want to know if a string contains a particular substring. As you can see that we just in this function we have two arguments. In first we have to pass the variable, and in the second we have to pass the character or whatever the word we want to find out from this variable. So it just show us this result that this thing is found in this thing. There is was no @ sign if this failed in it. Okay, next we have extracting a substring. You want to extract part of a strings and starting at a particular placing in its string. So we also have a function for this. As you can see that we just pass the string in it, or we can also pass the variable. We have to give the starting point and the length of it. The starting point is 6, which is from start from here, and length is 5. So from if we count 5 characters from it, we have got this in our result, and it just printed this on our terminal. So next we have replacing substring. You want to replace a substring with a different substring. As you can see in the syntax, we have the old string, new string, and the starting and the length of it. We can also skip this length portion, as you can see in this example. So there are two types in it. We can just start it with positive and negative. As you can, we know that a string also have the negative and the positive. Start the negative from -1 and the positive from 0. Okay, the 12, in which the 12 is this, and everything from next from 12 index vanished, and it just replaced it with the fish, as you can see in the output. And as it is with the -9, the -9 is from the below. If we start it from the here -1, so it just vanish everything next to -9 and replace it with this character, and it replace it over here. And we want to specific length, then it removes the 4 character in it and replace this to it. So as you can, we can see the green also replaced in it. Both have the same output. Those both and those both have the same output of this. Next we have processing a string one byte at a time. You need to process this byte in a string individually. As you can see that in this you can say that if you want to we have this function string, and we have two arguments in it. In the first argument we have a string, and in this character we are increasing in character one by one to it, and it just compared each character of this string THIS to this whole string. If it is present, then it just increment one value to this vowels, and we can check the vowels actually, that how many are vowels in this string. Okay, next we have reversing a string by a word or byte. You want to reverse the words or byte in a string. So in we just have a string reverse function, and it just show us the string it in our reverse to it on our terminal. Easy, easy. Okay, generating a random string. You want to generate a random string. So for this we have to generate a complete function for it. It's not a built-in, it's just made by itself function. So in which we have two arguments. First one is length and second one is character, and it perform the all the functionalities in it and just return the string. So in this argument we can also just skip this argument, because they are already by default setted values. If we just don't pass the argument, it just gives us the length of just show us the string of 32 length. So if we just pass the values, it will gives us the 16 characters from those string which we passed in it. Okay. Next we have expanding and compressing tabs. You want to change space to tabs and tabs to space. We have a simple function for it, in which first we have the thing which we want to replace, and thus in the second argument we have the thing which we want to we want it in the replacement, and in the third we have the string in which we want to make those changes, and it will just simply gives us the result if you just print it on our screen. Okay. Next we have controlling case. You want to capitalize and lowercase, we just convert it into those functionalities. For those we have also built-in function. It's a easy piece of cake. Okay. First we have UC first, in which it just capitalize the first word of the whole sentence, and second we have UC word. It just capitalize the first word of the first word of the each word in this sentence. And in the second we have we can also perform those two functionalities: string to upper, string to lower. The upper will completely convert the string to the uppercase, and the lower will completely convert the string to the lowercase. And in the next we have interpolating functions and expressions within the string. You want to include in which you want to include the result of executing a function or expression within a string. As you can see that if we can actually perform the function, the technical function in it. As you can see, we have the values over here, and it just add it in it, and we are actually performing the concatenation in it by this dot sign. It just you have 32 children, it just like say us to this, and the whole scenario with the other strings, you can see it too. Okay, terming blanks for a string. You want to remove white space from the beginning and or the end, and so we have a function trim for it. It just remove every space from the start and the end of it. And we have also function r trim and left trim. R trim just remove the spaces from the right side, and L trim just remove the spaces from the left side. And we can also perform pass an argument for if you want to remove a specific word or a character from the specific this specific string. So next we have generating comma separated data. It is actually a simple CSV file. You want to format data or comma separated value, so it can be imported by a spreadsheet or a database. So in which we just pass the it to the this CSV file. The data must be in the array form, and it just we can just save it in this CSV file. And as you can see that it can also this die operator, if this condition doesn't work, then this die operator will none that it will say that can't write the CSV file line on the terminal of it. Okay. Next we have parsing comma separated data. So in which you have the data in the comma separated file, the format, for example, a file exported from Excel or database, and you want to extract the record and the file into a format, you can manipulate it in the PHP. So as you can see that we can actually have this file name opened, and in this file name you can see that we just opened our file, and then this we have it in our we can show it in our table data one by one, which we extract data from this file, and at the end we just closed it at the end. So, and then next we have generating fixed width with the field data records. You need to format data records such that each field takes up a set amount of the character. So in which, as you can see that this string have the perform the functionality on each of the argument of this array. So this the first one 25 will is a restriction on the first, and this 15 is restriction on the second argument, this 4 is the restriction of the this argument. So it will allow to only have those amount of data in it specifically. Next we have taking strings apart. You need to break a string into a pieces. So we just have a this split function, as you can see that, and we can just show it in our text area by the line break of it. Okay. Next we have wrapping text at a certain line strength. You need to wrap a line in a string. For example, you want to display text by using an tag, but have it stay within a regularly sized browsing window. As you can see that we just this in this string we just wrap it, and it will show it to us as it is, without any tabs we used. It just show it as it is. So next we have storing binary data in the string. You want to praise a string that contains the value encoded as a binary structure or encoding value into a string. So we just pack and unpack it. In the pack we have to pass the argument and the name of it. We just unpack it by this. Okay, and we have to give it the values to. Okay, thank you very much. I hope to you like my presentation. I have very much less time. I tried my best to explain it in the this limited time. I hope you like it, and thank you very much for the listening, and Allah Hafiz.